Good morning to Mike Lamport. Mike is part of the longest serving railway family in the UK, and he's closely connected with this part of the world, having been born in Lamport, where his father was the station master. He's also been the roving ambassador for Railway 200 and is, of course, a keen supporter of Haslemere signal box. Mike, so why was Railway 200 such a great success?
Because of people, David, simply that. We knew that when we set out with the very limited budget that we had, that the only way that Railway 200 would be a success is if the people played a part in it. So my role was to literally cover the country, chivvying people up, but in a very gentle way, saying to them that in 2025, if they harbored any ideas of something they might be thinking about celebrating or commemorating or holding an anniversary for, just do it, to coin the phrase, just do it, because 2025 was the year to do it. And they did. And that's why I was so happy to be invited to events at Haslemere as part of those, and literally all over the country, from Scotland to the West Country. And it has been, I'm delighted to say, a great success. But it's been down to people's efforts. And in the main, it has to be said, the efforts of volunteers like ourselves. They have made Railway 200 happen.
What impact do you think the success of Railway 200 will have on projects like the one we're working on at Haslemere?
It's provided the impetus for people to make it happen, to believe that it can happen, because what Railway 200 has done, and in a way it's an accident of history, because when we started thinking about Railway 200 3 or 4 years ago, we had no idea that the railways would be moving back into public ownership in the very year that Railway 200 happened. And what that has meant is that the railway itself has come together. The railway family has come back together again. It's no longer Network Rail and Train Operating Companies. South Western Railway is now run by one person, and that one person has control over the former Network Rail and South Western Railway staff. So it means that volunteers like ourselves have now got a single point of contact within the industry again. And of course, we all know what that means, that things can happen more quickly.
Why do you think our project in Haslemere is so important?
Well, I would say this, wouldn't I? Coming from the oldest railway family, one that's been associated with it from its very opening in 1859, my great-grandfather was a guard on the line when it first opened in 1859. So he will have seen Haslemere in its very earliest days as a railway station, right the way through to the 1980s, when my father was one of the last station masters. And I can say that he was one of the last station masters at Haslemere, because after his era, we then went into area management, which meant that station masters were in charge of, they weren't called masters, they were called managers, and they were in charge of lots of stations. But Dad was one of the last station masters at Haslemere. So Haslemere Signal Box was part of his fiefdom. And I know that he would spend a lot of happy hours there as a former signalman himself.
I can understand that, having been on the station when the signal box signalled its last train, and hearing the signalman make a dash for the bells. And I forget what the combination is. Is it 755 or something like that?
Yes,
box closing. Yeah. And it was a very poignant moment.
It will have been. I'm glad I didn't hear that, because I probably would have burst into tears had I done so. Yes, it's something that I personally want to hear again, and I know through the wonders of technology we can do this. I mean, one of the things about a signal box on a railway station was that it provided some life to the railway station, because it was some noises off which were relevant to the operation of the railway. And I know that down in Cornwall, Truro is a favourite station of mine, right the way through from my childhood. It's so quiet now, there is no signal box there, because the bell doesn't ring to warn you of the approaching London Express like it did in the past. So what I'm hoping is that what we can achieve with Haslemere Signal Box is some way of having that sound still coming out through the windows at certain times, so you can still recreate the memory of a railway station with a signal box on it, which we've been lucky to have since 1906, of course.
Well, we're certainly hoping that we will be able to do that, and pretty soon too. Things are happening very rapidly on the station now, as we talked this morning, the people are working in the new museum above the booking hall, and that's coming along nicely, and we hope to see the rest of the project progressing shortly. What advice would you have for our volunteers?
Keep carrying on. It's as simple as that. You've got a head of steam, if I can use that corny railway phrase. You've got a head of steam now. You've got the attention of the railway industry, and never forget that within the railway industry, it's made up of a lot of enthusiasts like yourselves. They won't necessarily be overtly enthusiasts, but you know that when you speak to people in the railway, there are people that are on the same wavelength of yourself. It's not like talking to Company X, where you're not sure anybody shares your particular interest. On the railway, you can be sure that people do. Yes, just keep carrying on, because you've got a hearing, you've got people within the industry who want Haslemere Signal Box project and the museum project to prosper. I think this is a very good time. And again, I think Railway 200 has helped that, and we should ride that wave.
Mike, this has been very interesting. Thank you very much indeed for your time, and we look forward to seeing you on the station again sometime soon.
Me too. Thank you very much.